Aaron?
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good seeing you, brother.
Thanks for making time to come down.
Absolutely.
So we wanted to talk to you a bit as like one of our athlete spotlight series, and you are one of our athletes that we've a lot of desire to kind of hear about what brought you to us. So we're gonna lead off with like a really great question, like how did you find CrossFit?
How did I find CrossFit? That's a great question. It's a memory it'll always be embedded in my head. The day that I found out about CrossFit, I was making a food delivery to the Giddy Up and Go espresso stand. Mm-hmm. And I noticed one of the past members, she's no longer a member here, she was walking out of a back area and she was just boom, boom. And I'm like, oh hell, what happened to her? I thought she was hurt. I really thought she was hurt. Okay. And I'm thinking, okay. And I rolled down the window, are you okay? And I knew her from one of the gas station. And she goes, yeah, I've been doing CrossFit. And I can't remember the workout, but she was like, I can't believe I did. She was so excited, but she was, I don't know if I can walk tomorrow type of deal. It was the funniest thing ever. But I've been looking at that point for something new, something for me, Kimberly, to do, something that we could do together, something that was like a bonding type of something we could do. Yeah. So it was funny. I remember Dustin talking about it before, and he's like, hey, got this CrossFit going on, and I'm always interested in it. So that morning, I think it was like later on, an hour later, if not 10 minutes later, I called Dustin and said, hey, tell me something about this CrossFit. I told him a story about so-and-so walking out of the back room, and here she is walking. He told me what was going on and how this box here was going to be starting up in, I think it was maybe 4 to 6 weeks. That there was something getting together, if I remember right. Yep. So with that being said, that's how I found out. And I think it was maybe a week later, Dustin says, hey, instead of coming down to the old box, why don't you guys get acclimated to how CrossFit is and come let me work with you guys downstairs in my basement. I'm like, crap, downstairs in Dustin's basement. I don't want.
Who wants
and
to be
Dustin,
in the basement?
me and Dustin, we go way back, be competitive against each other, and I think there's a couple times we might have pushed and shoved each other, but it was different than what people would think. They probably think of me like, oh, what a ornery guy or what a bully, whatever. But it was different. We were both very competitive, so it was kind of tempting, and at the same time like, oh hell yeah, I'll go work out with Dustin, just to think, Lord, did I know what I was getting into, because Dustin had everything planned for us. Long story short on that end, but he had everything planned for us, and 4 weeks later, there we were. We were here in this box. After working out in Dustin's garage, we made it finally in here. I did one night stint over there at the old box, and it was really awkward for me because I'm thinking, oh, okay, I kind of got this from being in Dustin's garage. And I remember watching Elliot Vallejo was doing
it was Calsu.
Yeah, and I was walking there tying my shoes, and Elliot's on the ground. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this guy, I just met Elliot maybe 3 months into it. And I'm thinking, this guy is on the ground, an ex-NFL footballer, professional athlete, football player, is on the ground and he's struggling, bright red, eyes watering, and trying to have a conversation with Elliot, and it was not happening. Later on did I know that he went in the shower or something that night and was wearing his socks, and he was totally out of it. That was my true taste of what CrossFit actually did to a human being.
What does it do to humans?
Yeah, it does a lot to humans.
So you've been coming for a while, but there's like a pretty significant story that I think I want to cut right to the chase and say, like, tell us about you and cancer.
Okay. Don't make me tear up. But okay, yeah, it's always...
It happens anyway.
It does. So anyways, March, for me, means a lot. It's my cancerversary. Actually, yesterday was 2 years. Yeah. Oh, yesterday was 2 years that I found out that I was diagnosed with renal cell carcinoma, which is cancer in the kidney. Excuse me. But CrossFit at that point was like so new to me, and I found out about this because I'm just gonna tell everybody I was bleeding internally, and it happened to be, the doctor told me, CrossFit pretty much saved you, because the workouts I was doing that week was squats, and he was a believer that me doing those squats is what caused a blood vessel to rupture and to have on the tumor, and to have the blood going through my urine. So with that being said, it was, you guys both know, it was a very emotional time for me, and pretty much all of us. But it was something where CrossFit meant so much more to me, and I gave my life to CrossFit. Just, I was done with everything else. It's like CrossFit saved me. So, I mean, it's emotional for me, but it's funny that we're doing this because it's great we're doing this right here because it's my cancerversary yesterday of 2 years,
cool.
2 years.
when I was diagnosed. So it's like, it just made me a better person. I've understanding more about myself. Life outside of that was, to me, was like full speed, one speed. That's how I've always been. When I was diagnosed, it was like, oh, slow down, reality check here. Where am I at physically, mentally? I mean, I had to stop doing things for 6 months, I think it was. But when I came back, I was mentally stronger. And I knew from there, we had a family here. And there was so much support from friends. And I mean, you know, it just meant a lot. It meant a lot. Sorry about the choking up, but it just gets to me.
I think that's why it's so powerful, and I think there's a ton of there's so many good stories about just like the family that can wrap around you when you're having such a stressful time. And it takes a village to get through these things. And sometimes there are so many people who are lonely and dealing with this stuff without the extra support, and it's so cool.
Oh, it's amazing. I remember the phone call I made to Dustin the day I found out. Because I wanted to come work out.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I can find something for you to do. It's like, you don't get it. But it was Dustin being like, hey, there's stuff we can do, so don't give up on coming in.
Yeah.
I didn't for like maybe I think a week and a half until the doctor said, done. You're done for right now.
Yeah.
So stop doing what you're doing. So, but I still came in here day in, day in, day out just to support everybody.
Yeah.
Because I had nothing else going on. I didn't want to sit at home by myself, and I got tired of doing yard work.
It
So
made you just sit at home too. You had to like take time off.
I had to
So
take.
you're
I took 6 months off, and
how does that feel?
Well, right. No,
Especially for someone like you. I mean, you're such a go-getter, and I mean, you're such a driven person. Anyways, you know, to have that be shut down, it is hard. And I think that's one of the things that's kind of nice too is you've lived through some of these workouts that we've done here, and even though you're not in it and doing it, you can kind of go absorb that energy a little bit too by just being here, being here and going, oh man, I know what that feels like. Right. And even though you're not there, you're like, I can sympathize with you. Knuckles,
it's so true.
I mean, cheering people on.
It's
like baseball, right? I mean, we love watching baseball or football.
Absolutely.
Even though we don't play it anymore,
right? There's still that
passion.
Yeah. It's even like I particularly don't do the open. Not just because I don't want to do it. It's just because the time and restraints from my work. I can't really dedicate myself. I know that's an excuse, but what I enjoy the most part about it is coming in here and watching these athletes, friends, family, do the workouts and the support. If I can give support to any person and they text me that night and say, thank you for being there, that means something to me. I mean, it does. If I can come in here and bring my dinner and sit here and eat and watch everybody sweat to death and particularly almost come close to death. Joke, no pun intended.
It feels like death.
It does. But knowing what they've gone through and what they're going through at that point, it satisfies me. You know, and that's the best part about CrossFit. CrossFit, it's really cool because, you know, I know a lot of people where I live and from Tri-Cities while being working in the community I work in, job I do. The people I've met here, they're not friends. They're more than friends. They're family. I mean, I've met some really cool people that now it's not just hanging out here. There's weekend stuff. There's nightly stuff that we do together, and there's times when we all come together and do stuff. And it's to me that satisfies that. There's friendships. I mean, CrossFit, what's it done to me? And say the past 2 years, even the past year itself. I mean, I completed a trifecta in a Spartan race.
Yeah.
Who in the hell would have thought that I'd be doing it?
You did so great.
It's something I want to do. And then we all decided together, let's do this as a team, and we did. Yeah. And then we had certain things with injuries, and we couldn't proceed together, our team, to end up doing the trifecta and end up in Tahoe together. But the group, we had a core that we stuck together, and we kept on doing it. And the World Championship in Lake Tahoe, to me, was, there's no way I could have done it without doing this stuff. I mean, honestly, there's just so many things that as CrossFit's done to me. It just made me who I am right now.
Not just physically strong, but mentally strong.
Oh, yeah.
And feel supported. I think that's a big thing that a lot of people don't get when they go to their normal gyms. They don't have that support.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where that community kind of comes into play. That, you know, we think of, you know, being strong as just, you know, physically strong, but I think there's a lot of mental support.
It's very true.
You know, and I like the idea. Like I've been thinking about this commentary, but just like being able to be more you all the time.
Right.
You're not just like, not trying to like, oh, I can't do that, or like the self-doubt, but like,
Right.
I can do that. I
Right.
believe in me, and that means I can go further. The endurance that happens from that, that's just the ultra beast. So much
Oh, yeah.
had to come from like your attitude and your perspective on what you were doing.
What it does is breaks your body down, and then you have to learn to get through that. And it's not just that moment, but it's in here, it's out there, it's life in itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's right here. I mean, it's what it does to you. To me, that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably people, I know there is, throughout the community think, oh, that guy is such a whatever. But you know what? That's my personality, and I don't mean to go across things like that. And to do that with people like one of my best friends comes here, Aaron Martin. God, me and him will go battles in Destination CrossFit, but we both will high five each other and hug each other when it comes down to it. We both will be there for each other, but people think, God, those guys don't get along or what? But
Are they friends?
I think a lot of times though, once they realize that where you guys are coming from, that how good of friends you are,
Right.
It's like it's hilarious.
Right.
I mean, people find it funny.
Right.
I mean, you and Aaron both have. I mean, you have obviously a big personality. And I think that's where some people get misconstrued. Like your confidence can sometimes come off as cockiness.
Right.
But it's just you. It's just you. You have a big personality, and that's one of the things that I've loved about you. Once again, like you said, back in the day, we battled, in the competitive field,
Absolutely.
softball and whatnot. But once we kind of realized, like, hey, we're actually pretty similar in a lot of ways. I think that's where we can we found our bond.
Very true.
But I think that's one of the fun things about being in here is that banter and that that making it fun.
It's
right?
it's fun and it's a family. When you walk through those doors, if you don't, I call it drinking the Kool-Aid. If you don't feel that when you walk in, I'm just down. I know I feel it. I feel energy when I walk through that door. Or even if I get out of my car, I know where I'm coming. When I leave my house, I know I'm coming here. And it's like when I walk through the door, let's play. It's fun. This is like the older kids. This is what you do.
Recess.
Right.
It's
It
adult
is.
recess.
Adult
It
recess.
is. Let's hang around the monkey bars. Let's swing.
Yeah.
I don't care what we do. As long as we're not doing burpees, we're cool.
Oh, about that. There's so many burpees recently. So I want to talk a little bit about, and this is a great segue. Talk a little bit about the awards, because this is the first year we've done awards for our members, and it was member nominations that we had. And so tell us a little bit about what award you got and what it means to you.
Okay, what was the award? Most
welcoming.
welcoming. That's what it was, and the reason I'm having a hard time remembering that because I was really shocked. But it took about 3 or 4 friends to actually tell me, like, well, why wouldn't it be you? And I'm just saying this because they have told me that. It's like, you're always welcoming people, and you're always being that first person. I had one guy coming to me that's new to the gym. He goes, you were the first person to come up to me and introduced yourself. And he goes, I kind of just sat there, and he goes, and you made me feel comfortable. And to me, when I hear this, like, oh, shoot. Great. Because that's how I felt when I came in. And there was, I think, maybe 10 members then, something of the sort. And I felt comfortable then, and I think it's the CrossFit way, and it's the human way, and you got to feel welcome no matter what it is, from life itself to in here. But as of the award, honestly, when you were talking about it, knowing me, I was talking above somebody else while they're talking, and I was talking about something else, and my name got mentioned, and it's like, what, me? And I'm yelling, Debbie, that's got to be Debbie, and it was Aaron, like, wow, okay. And it didn't really catch on to me really what it was until I had to sit and think about it, what it really meant. And it means a lot to know that, So it's something that I got to keep on going, not just in here, but in life itself. It's something that I do. That's great.
I think I just think you're really good at it, Aaron. I mean, when people come in here, you're always asking how they're doing, and that's what people want, right? I mean, that's what you want. And I think that if more people emulated, what they would like to receive when they come into not just here, but like you said, in life, they would get what they want out of it.
Absolutely.
So I think that's one thing that you've liked and you've wanted about for CrossFit is being able to have everybody feel welcome.
Absolutely.
And it's a pretty easy one.
It is.
I mean,
and it's something I think everybody in the world needs to have that. I mean, they do. Right. There's a lot of things going on outside of these windows and that front door that we all need to understand that and take a grasp and realize what would you like and what do you want, and it's something that I would appreciate that, and that's why I like to give it back as much as I can.
Well, we really appreciate that. It embodies a lot of what our values are at the box. So that community, you bring that just in spades. and the positivity.
Right.
And then just being integrous about just being you all the time and just being more you.
Right.
And so I really appreciate you taking time to come talk to us, and also
absolutely.
hopefully it'll inspire more people who are maybe on the fence to just
Right.
come in or at least ask you.
Hey, yeah, come up and introduce yourself. If I already know you,
Right.
do it again. And then, you know what? Partner workout. Let's work out together. I love that. Different partners, when I do come on site, I try to grab somebody different, you know, because yeah, it's just something you got to get to know other people, and it
Yeah.
helps out. Life skills, they're huge. You got to use them.
Love it.
Got to use it.
High five.
Thanks, you guys. No, that
Thank
was
you.
great. Great.